It's nearly 80 degrees in Sacramento and I'm freezing. Hey, what's up? My name is Jessica and today I'm here to talk about my journey towards paying my debt, specifically going over the exact amounts that I owe in credit card and student loan debt, as well as how I plan on paying those off. So let's jump right into it. I'm going to be starting with the lowest amount and working my way up to the largest amount that I owe, and I will be including interest rates. So currently my lowest amount that I owe is my credit card. I owe $250.87 on my credit card. That includes things like car repairs, I believe it's tires, getting new tires, as well as graduation expenses like my cap and gown, paying the fees to graduate, and buying like a graduation outfit and stuff like that. I'm planning on paying that off next time that I get paid, just so I don't have to worry about it. And then the only thing that will be on there is my Apple Music, as well as my insurance on my phone. And I have that through SquareTrade. It's $10.99 a month. So those will be the only things on my credit card. I will pay those in full every month, and hopefully then I will just be done with credit cards. Starting with the next lowest amount. That next amount is an unsubsidized loan for $1,983 at an interest rate of 4.45%. I actually paid $300 on that the other day, and I'm still waiting for that payment to go through. So that will bring that amount down to $1,600. Next, we have another unsubsidized loan that is for $2,000, so just slightly more than the other principal balance I just went over, and that one is at 4.45% as well. Next, I have a subsidized loan in the amount of $3,517 at a rate of 4.45%. And if you're wondering, I'm reading all of my notes. And then the highest I owe in my own personal student loans is another subsidized loan for $4,500 at an interest rate of 3.76%. So ultimately my interest rates for my personal student loans aren't super high, fortunately. They're pretty manageable. I paid off my unsubsidized loan of $2,000 at a 5.05% interest rate, and I mentioned that in my previous video, so you can go check that out for a more general view of what's going on here. But that number was just disgusting to me, so I wanted to go ahead and pay it off. All right, now let's jump into the Parent Plus loans that I owe. So I have two Parent Plus loans. The smaller one is for $7,079 at an interest rate of 6.3%. And the higher amount is for $24,782 at an interest rate of 6.8%, which is pretty gross. I'm not happy with those interest rates at all. However, as much as I want to start working the highest interest rate first and do what Dave Ramsey calls the debt avalanche, I just really don't think that's in my best interest right now. Which leads me into talking about the way I'm going to pay these off. So I am following Dave Ramsey's baby steps in order to pay off my debt. Shocker, it's not like anyone else on here is doing that too, right? So I'm following the debt snowball in order to pay off my loans. I'm starting with my personal loans and trying to just pay those all off as like one payment instead of paying them off incrementally now at this point. I am going to be paying way more than my minimum payment. My minimum payment at this point is only going to be around $120-ish for those personal loans. However, I plan on paying close to $500 per month just on those in order to really get rid of them. And then I plan on making the minimum payments on my Parent Plus loans and then gradually increasing that amount as I begin to pay off my personal student loans. As I mentioned in my previous video, I'm also really lucky to have an employer that has a student loan repayment program. So that will also help me exponentially to pay off those personal student loans. Next, I would like to go over my budget. Next, I would like to go over my budget, like a rough monthly budget. And the main thing I want to talk about though is food expenses. And this plays into just a general lifestyle type of budget type of discussion. I am vegan, and so is my boyfriend. His name is Aaron. We're both vegan, and I am more of like a minimalist. I don't really buy clothes and things except for sunflower things and Halloween things. So the main thing I spend my money on is food. However, there is this myth out there that being vegan makes your food cost so much money when it doesn't. So I want to use our trip to Costco yesterday as an example of how much our groceries cost per month. So for me personally, my budget is $100 a month. Obviously it's okay if I go, a couple dollars over that, because it's food after all, but $25 a week is a pretty good amount for me. Now, I'm not going to the grocery store literally every week, especially when I go to Costco and we stock up. But I thought that I would just give you an example of the things that we buy. So for example, yesterday at Costco, we spent $170.67. However, a big chunk of that was me buying some stuff for my car, as well as Aaron. He bought wiper blades like I did. I also bought oil for my car for oil changes to reduce the overall cost of maintenance on my car. And then Aaron also bought protein powder for his marathon training, as well as some gloves for when he runs when it's freezing outside. So subtracting all of that, we spent $102 in regular groceries, and that also includes us buying like laundry soap and that sort of thing. So for us, for about 2 weeks of food, we bought things like big pack of flavored water so that we're not just drinking water all the time because it gets very boring. We bought fig bars because we're big snackers. Restocked up on some oats. We got laundry soap. We got hamburger buns, Dave's Killer Bread, a gigantic package of spinach. We got these cool little frozen veggie bite things, more strawberry jelly. We got some hummus. We got some mushrooms. We bought some butternut squash, and we also got bananas. I know some people might think that doesn't seem like a lot of food, but that's just restocking on the things that we can buy in bulk, and then that go with things like veggie burgers that we buy on a normal basis. This really works for us. We're able to save a ton of money. I definitely think $100 a month is doable for the average person, especially if you are eating a vegan diet, or at least like a whole foods plant-based diet. It's totally possible, and I would recommend it to anyone to try to save some money. And while we're on the topic of a budget, I highly recommend using Dave Ramsey's EveryDollar app. It's a free app, and I really like the way that it's set up to track your budget. I've used lots of other budgeting apps and savings apps like Capital, for example, and I just never found any of them, even though they attach to your checking account, to be as comprehensive as the EveryDollar app. I really like how you can personalize things, and I really like the way that it tracks everything. So it tracks what you've spent, it tracks what you have remaining, and it also lets you input exactly the amount that you made that month in case you have a variable income, kind of like I do, how mine varies slightly every month. So I thought that was a super duper amazing app. I'm still loving it, and I think that you will too. So go ahead and download it, and I promise you it will help you keep track of everything. In addition, I feel like it's important to talk about the extra things that we consume, or that most people consume, like alcohol and smoking and that sort of thing. So Aaron and I are straight edge, and we don't drink, we don't smoke, we don't vape, whatever other things the kids are doing these days. We don't do it. We don't have the money in our budget to do it. It's not conducive to our health. It's not conducive to being able to go to work and feel good at work. We prioritize food, we prioritize rest and sleeping and being able to spend quality time with each other and with family. So I think that cutting out unnecessary things like drugs and alcohol can make a big difference in your life. That's, in my opinion, not a great way to celebrate or to spend your relaxation money. I think that if you really do need an evening to relax, I think that everyone would be better served by spending that on renting a movie, maybe getting some popcorn, rather than how expensive alcohol can get. Every time I go to the store, I'm in shock that it's so normal to keep alcohol on hand. Stop doing it if you want to maintain a budget. Just stop doing it. Believe me. I would also like to quickly go over repayment plans. So for my personal student loans, I'm on the standard payment plan, and that's for the payments of $120-ish per month. And then for my Parent Plus loans, originally I was still going to go with the standard repayment plan, which is around $340-ish a month. But after talking to one of my cousins, I have decided to go with the graduated plan on those Parent Plus for those Parent Plus loans. I think it will help me to pay off my personal student loans faster, since they are the smaller amount, as well as to help me in the event that there was ever like an emergency. I do have my emergency fund of $1,000 in my bank account, which is baby step 1 of Dave Ramsey's program. So I do have that saved up, but just in case, I would rather know that I only had to pay a minimum of, I believe it's $211 on the Parent Plus loans, although I still plan on paying the standard amount per month, but it just gives me that little bit of a buffer. So that is the more detailed version of what I owe, as well as how I budget. And so feel free to stick around for more videos on how I budget, and I'm going to be tackling these loans. So I'll see you next time. Bye!